السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة. أما بعد, جزاكم الله خير. My dear respected brothers and sisters, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for tuning in. So, brothers and sisters, we're going to be continuing our series. We stopped during the summer, and alhamdulillah, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, today we're going to resume our series of the evidence of the origins of Islam. And bi'idhnillah ta'ala, today is going to be kind of an interesting topic for Muslims and non-Muslims, for us to know more about how the Quran addresses the unseen. That many people, subhanAllah, part of our faith as Muslims, we believe that for the unseen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the beginning with the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. So we believe in the unseen. And subhanAllah, the Quran, it established itself by showing us so much evidences, brothers and sisters, of things that that did not occur at the time of the Prophet Muhammad that we discovered later, Inshallah, and we're going to be talking about how the Quran proved itself as a miraculous book, how the Quran show that there are so many miracles that nowadays and even after the death of the Prophet Muhammad we're discovering how it mentions miracles of the unseen. So, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, one of the things, brothers and sisters, that we need to make sure that we are aware of, and here I'm going to share with you like a short presentation. One of the things that I want to share with you, brothers and sisters, is the fact that the Quran, even though it came to address, the Quran came to address the fitrah of the normal human being, the fitrah, or the natural predisposition of any human being. It needs to know its Lord. It needs to know the reason why it was created. It needed to know why does it exist, what's going to happen, and etc. What's going to happen to me after I die. The Quran did not just stop and tell you, well, your job is here in this world is 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is it. No, the Quran went even more to tell us about the reason why we're here. It give us reasons, and it give us information how we are created. It give us very detailed descriptions of the hellfire. It give us very detailed descriptions of the Jannah, heaven. It gives us descriptions of many other creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the angels and etc. So the Quran, it came to quench the thirst of any human being. The Quran came to show us and guide us and prove it to us that it's the last testament that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have revealed to this earth. So how are we going to, and today in bi'idhnillah ta'ala, brothers and sisters, I'm going to prove to you how the Quran shows us that bit by bit, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إن الذين كفروا بالذكر لما جاءهم وإنه لكتاب عزيز لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه وما من خلفه تنزيل من حكيم حميد. It says, indeed, those who deny the reminder, after it came to them, and subhanallah, and this is truly a mighty book. It cannot be proven false from any angle in its revelation from the one who's all wise, all praiseworthy. So for subhanallah, that the Quran proves itself, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. So bi'idhnillah ta'ala, brothers and sisters, today we're going to be talking about three things, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, three things that show how the Quran talked about the unseen. Okay, there are many things that the Quran talks about al-ghaib, but today we're just going to be covering only three sections. Section number one, we're going to be talking about how the Quran it tried to it talks about itself. It talks about the future of Islam and the future of its book, and it's the future of its message. So that's one. Second, we're going to be talking about how the Quran talks about the future of the believers, you know. And third, we're going to be talking about how the Quran talks about the future of the two parties, the party of God and the party of Satan. So let's go, bidnillah ta'ala, and show how the Quran presents itself and proves itself that it's truly a book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So let's start with the very first point, brothers and sisters. How the Quran, talks about, proves itself, and by talking about the unseen and the future of Islam at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the future of the book and the message. Brothers and sisters, the Quran came to the Sahaba when the time where they were prosecuted, they were chased, they were punished, they were weak, they were few. And the Quran came, subhanallah, to raise their hope and give them a definite answer and a definite hope, not just try to raise their moral. No. The Quran came to give them definitively what's going to happen to them in the future, and tells them what's going to be happening in the future with Allah ta'ala. So for subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to guarantee to the believers that their faith is going to be preserved. Their faith is going to continue. Their faith and their faith and their deen is going to be until the hereafter. For subhanallah, when someone makes such claim, when you are weak, when you are only few of you, when you have no help, when you are at the time when the Sahaba and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were eating the leaves of the trees, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and he tells them, كذلك يضرب الله الحق والباطل فأما الزبد فيذهب جفاء وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض كذلك يضرب الله الأمثال. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives examples, in anything that would be worthless is going to go away, but anything that is beneficial is going to stay. And that's indeed what happened. Islam came to benefit humanity, and it stayed. And it stayed and survived, even though many people tried to extinguish it, even though many people tried to fight it off, even though many people tried to change it. But Islam kept, and it was preserved. And we see that nowadays, brothers and sisters, how our deen, our religion is the only religion that kept itself from human intervention, that kept itself from changes when it comes to many aspects of life, when it preserves itself in front of many things and many enemies, for subhanallah, who have preserved this deen and made it last forever. So this is again, brother, you have to imagine this, brothers. This came when the Muslims were few, when the Muslims were during the Meccan time, and all of these verses, the verses that I mentioned, and many other that I'm going to mention, that came when the Muslims were few and they were weak, and anybody could have turned away and left them, but subhanallah, it came to them to support them and tell them that you're in the right path, and your faith is going to be preserved, even though they were prosecuted, even though they were tortured by the kuffar. They were subhanallah, imagine the kuffar were doing this to the believers for 10 years, but what the Quran came and told them, look, your deen is going to preserve. How did they how the Quran guaranteed these things for them? That shows that it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It protected to them something that they did not know about, the unseen, that their deen is going to be preserved. That even though it started in Mecca, it's going to expand to the Arabian Peninsula, and it's going to expand to Northern Africa, and it's going to expand to the Middle East, and it's going to expand to Europe, and Middle Africa, and etc. How subhanallah, how the Quran predicted such thing? It shows the fact that the Quran came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, when you have to understand, at the time of the Sahaba, there are let's think about this logically. Many prophecies have died out. And for instance, uh, even though they were in the truth, and we know only a handful names of prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And we don't know all the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So many prophecies have died out. Many ummahs were destroyed. Many books were never preserved. Many prophets were killed and destroyed, and there are many cities that we don't know that they even existed, and now we're just discovering them nowadays. So how did the Quran, even though knowing all these things, how the Quran and came and guaranteed to the believers that one, you will have victory. Two, your deen is going to be preserved. Three, that your faith is going to last. That your book is not gonna be altered. And even Allah Subhanahu wa Taala talks about this in the Quran when Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is telling His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, وَمَا كُنْتَ تَرْجُو أَن يُلْقَى إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was not a liar. Look at how Allah Subhanahu wa Taala addresses His Prophet. He said, "You never expected this book to be revealed to you." And look at the way Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is talking to His messenger. You did not want this book to be revealed to you, but it came only as a mercy from your Lord. And Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in Surah Al-Isra, وَلَئِن شِئْنَا لَنَذْهَبَنَّ بِالَّذِي أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ ثُمَّ لَا تَجِدُ لَكَ عَلَيْنَا بِهِ وَكِيلًا. And if we willed, we could have certainly taken away what we have revealed to you. SubhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to take it back. So how the Quran came, to give guarantee for its reservation, that is going to be preserved, that is going to be, that is going to last forever, and etc. And no one can make this claim, brothers and sisters, unless it came from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, the Creator of the universe. You see. So this is very important for us to realize how the Quran, and the Quran, subhanallah, brothers and sisters, you have to understand that the Quran came and not only talked about how this book is going to be preserved, how this deen is going to be preserved and changed, how this deen is going to spread, but only it came and give a challenge. Subhanallah, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says, he tells his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how يريدون أن يطفئوا نور الله بأفواههم والله متم نوره ولو كره الكافرون. They came to extinguish the light of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is going to spread His light even if the disbelievers have hated this. And the Quran came and challenged them. He said, قُلْ لَإِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُم لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. So say if the human and the jinn came together, to come up with something that is equal to the Quran, they would not be able to come with something that is equal to Quran, even if they supported each other. Subhanallah. It did not only show that the Quran did not tell us and guaranteed for us that this deen is going to be preserved, that this message is going to be preserved, that this book is going to be preserved, but also came to challenge everybody that you would not be able to produce anything like it. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We have revealed this book and we shall preserve it. Subhanallah, that shows us, so we talked about here the very first element of the Quran, how the Quran talks about the unseen, how the Quran told us how this deen and the religion and the message is going to be preserved. Second thing, brothers and sisters, second aspect that we're going to be talking about, how the Quran talks about the future of the believers. Again, we have to understand that the Quran, came to reassure the Muslims when they were weak, and prepared them for victory. Remember, again, the Muslims were weak. The Muslims were few. They have, they don't have all the sustenance in the world, you know. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came to them and told them, وَلَقَدْ سَبَقَتْ كَلِمَتُنَا لِعِبَادِنَا الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِنَّهُمْ لَهُمُ الْمَنْصُورُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine, you're weak and you have no help, and all of a sudden the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come to you and tells you, oh, our word have already gone forth to our servants, you know, and messengers, that there would be surely be helped, and they're certainly going to be they're going to prevail, and they're going to have victory. Subhanallah, you know, that shows you that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the believers that you're going to be victorious, and they did. And they did, you know. Imagine, brothers and sisters, when the Muslims migrated from Mecca to Medina, they were surrounded. The kuffar of Quraysh and the other disbelievers in the Arabian Peninsula came, and they in different wars, they came and they wanted to annihilate them. They wanted to get rid of the Muslims, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came and reassured them. How the Quran knew that they're going to be victorious? How the Quran knew that they're going to have victory? How did it know? And give them to assure them and tell them, that وَلَا يَنْصُرَنَّ اللَّهَ مَنْ يَنْصُرُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give victory for those who give him victory. How did that happen? And except if it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's give you more example of the Quran, how the Quran shows us that the Muslims are going to be victorious, how the believers are going to be victorious. Imagine in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam attempted to go from Medina to Mecca to do Umrah, and the kuffar of Quraysh stopped him and prevented him from doing the Umrah or mini pilgrimage. So imagine this. The Muslims at that time, they were furious, and some Muslims didn't even agree with what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam decision, and some of the Muslims even repelled over the decision of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came and told them in the Quran, in Surah Al-Fatih, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَقَدْ صَدَقَ اللَّهُ رَسُولَهُ الرُّؤْيَا بِالْحَقِّ لَتَدْخُلُنَّ الْمَسْجِدَ الْحَرَامَ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ آمِنِينَ مُحَلِّقِينَ رُؤُوسَكُمْ وَمُقَصِّرِينَ لَا تَخَافُونَ فَعَلِمَ مَا لَمْ تَعْلَمُوا فَجَعَلَ مِنْ دُونِ ذَلِكَ فَتْحًا قَرِيبًا. He gave a guarantee to the Prophet and the believers that they will enter Masjid al-Haram. And that's indeed what happened. And not only that, he gave them a description of how they look like. محلقين, you're shaved, مقصرين, or you shorten your hair. لا تخافون, you're fearless. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you victory. How did that happen? And that's indeed what happened. Subhanallah, how did the Quran make such a guarantee to the believers when all the believers at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were in doubt. Subhanallah. That shows us that the Quran again came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third aspect, brothers and sisters, that we're going to be talking about, how the Quran talks about the unseen in the future, relating to the two parties that exist in this world, the party of God and the party of Satan. Brothers and sisters, subhanallah, and this has happened, this is a continual miracle even nowadays. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we know, the Meccan or the people from Quraysh have disobeyed Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam kept inviting them to Islam and show them the truth. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and even made supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide them, but they still refused. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, فَارْتَقِدْ يَوْمَ تَأْتِي السَّمَاءُ بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now wanted to punish them, and then and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O Prophet of Allah, the sky the sky will be veiled in haze, clearly visible. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling that there's going to be some sort of punishment that's going to be casted on the Qurayshi people. So what happened? The people of Quraysh were in drought. They were hungry. They had no water. They were exhausted. They were in drought. So they even though, subhanallah, this is how the disbelievers sometimes, even though they are uttering kufr, they're not believing Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with their tongue, but in their heart, deep inside of their heart, they know that he was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they came, and they begged him. They begged him, oh, can you please ask your Lord to uplift, the punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he in the Quran said, Inna kashiful adhabi qalilan innakum aidun. We will uplift, yani we will uplift, yani the punishment, on you, but you will come back. So what happened? After uplifted the punishment on the people of Christ, did they believe? No. They, of course, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have predicted, have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have told them that they're gonna come back, and so and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he talks about how the Quraysh were asking Allah, رَبَّنَا اكْشِفْ عَنَّا الْعَذَابَ إِنَّا مُؤْمِنُونَ. Oh Allah, uplift the punishment on us, we are believers. But what happened? They returned. And the Quran tell us that how the Qurayshi people and the kuffar and the disbelievers, that they will be punished multiple times. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا يَزَالُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا تُصِيبُهُم بِمَا صَنَعُوا قَارِعَةً أَوْ تَحِلُّ قَرِيبٌ مِّن دَارِهِمْ. The believers will continue they continue to be conflicted with disasters, one after another, But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told, not only that, he told that that the disbeliever is going to be at loss. They will lose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. O Prophet, turn away from them. And that's what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did. He after he invited them, and they continued to disbelieve, and he tried to showed them miracles. They still disbelieve. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him what? فَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. Turn away from them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, سيهزم الجمع ويولون الدبر. Soon, they will be defeated and forced to flee. So the Sahaba, and even Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, what masses? Who's going to flee? And what masses going to be there to win over the disbelievers? But when they went through the battle of Badr, the first battle, in the very first battle at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they saw how the kuffar lost, this was a huge impact. Because imagine, brothers and sisters, imagine again, you were weak, you were few, you have no sustenance, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to you, tell you, you'll be okay. You will have victory. Tomorrow you will win. And they would wonder, how did that happen? People wondered, how can we win? And when it came and they won, those ayahs has a huge impact to them. Yes, even though the brothers and sisters, the Quran are made out of letters and words, but it was those letters and words was engraved into the hearts of the Sahaba. They felt them, they experienced them, they tasted them. They know what it means. And they know the truthfulness of the Quran because they not just read it, they experienced it. SubhanAllah, that's and not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِنْ بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. That indeed we have written in the Psalms that at the end times, who's going to inherit the land? The righteous people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the future of, for instance, the Holy Land, Palestine, how it's going to be occupied and how it's going to be freed later on, and how the Muslims are going to gain back their land. Again, that gives us hope and tell us that one day the whole land is going to go back to the Muslims. For subhanallah, it's not only just something that happened, even though the Quran told us the future of the believers, the party of God and the party of Satan, what happened to them, how the believers win and the party of Satan lost, but also the Quran tell us future what's going to happen to us. Which party are you going to be with? Are you going to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing him? How are you, or are you going to be with the party of Satan? So brothers and sisters, something that you have to understand and experience, and that's why when you read the Quran, and you should feel these meanings, how the Quran at many levels talks about the unseen at the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and in the future. So inshallah, يعني بإذن الله تعالى today, يعني we just talked briefly or يعني few points how the Quran talks about how what is the future of the deen, what is the future of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the future of the message, how the Quran told the future of the believers that they're going to be victorious, second point, and how the Quran talked about the two parties and what's going to be their future, the party of God and the party of Satan. I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yani this is inshallah should give us and uplift our faith, how that the Quran indeed a miraculous book, that no one can come up with these things, these facts of the unseen except that it came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope that you have learned a few things. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.